All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the next session of New Horizons. And we're going to start with a recap.
I got this.
All right. Wait, do we get this with or without Puberty 2.0?
Here, Puberty 2.0. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
So, last week, party descended.
This is even better. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The party descended from their ship into the port and was greeted by a mysterious stranger who welcomed them. It was a wonderful experience. Then they went to meet with Liz, I believe, who teleported them to another area where they found a cafeteria, enjoyed many of the delicacies that were available in this cafeteria. Can't speak to the quality of them, aside from the coffee that Cersei took advantage of, and got an opportunity to meet Java, the character I'll be playing. After their brief sabbatical to, enjoy the wonderful things from the cafeteria, they were ushered into another room, had a conference with names struggling right now.
General Caldwell
General Caldwell
and Boris
and Boris. Yes,
and Liz, the suspicious psychic.
very suspicious.
Super sus. We think
The
she
nervous
might be
psychic.
planning to vent us. The
After
nervous psychic.
after much back and forth, decided to end the conversation for now, and this is where we're at. I guess coming back to that conversation, did we take a? I can't remember. Did we take like a break in character, or
I think that was undecided whether you guys wanted to spend more time discussing and trying and convincing, or trying to sway General Caldwell from his intended course of fleeing, now that his of turning himself in and letting the rest of his people flee until he could, unless he could secure them some sort of favorable deal.
and I suppose that was it.
Well done. Thank you for the recap.
Before we get into game, I just want to ask, can you guys, I want to make sure my audio threshold is where it needs to be for my mic. Can you guys hear wheel clicking or typing? I'm going to try that now.
Yes. Can hear it.
Yep. Dadgummit. Okay. How about this?
Yep.
So I think
Yes.
Dadgummit. Okay.
the
I'm going to
trouble
turn
is
that down. Sorry.
Do you have the noise suppression on?
Prob not. Voice activity. I can put the threshold up higher.
So on
Noise
the main screen,
Uh-huh.
bottom left-ish, right next to where it shows you voice connected, there should be a little waveform looking thing that when you click it
Waveform.
pops up noise suppression.
Noise suppression. On.
It's right
Okay.
next to the hang up button. So
You
Gotcha.
said it is on?
I'm not lighting up when I use my mouse wheel anymore. All right, now I'm going to try typing.
Yes,
Yay! It was a button click away the whole time.
One button, yay! Thanks.
I'm sure the viewers would love that educational moment.
We've actually been sponsored by noise suppression on a Discord near you. So try it today.
If that's true, we all gotta stop talking because we're all noise.
Wow, rude.
Our existential crisis brought to us by Cubicle Dexter. Hit the subscribe button if you want more nights like this.
Yes.
Don't get me going on the universe.
Oh no. Okay,
more
so anyway.
self-hating and depressing
more self-loathing like this. Hit like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications of when I'm having a breakdown.
So where would the party like to pick things up?
Good question. What do you guys think?
I think we were kind of leaving it off last time with an intent to like immediately talk to Liz, but I could be wrong.
I don't know
Yeah.
if we were planning to immediately talk to her. I don't.
Were we wanting to like stick around so we could try and talk to her though, or were we wanting to be like, all right, well, peace out, we'll go back to Tabuk?
I think Robert's half right. We were planning to stick around and talk to Boris. Or not Boris, Caldwell, about Liz.
Okay.
If I keep saying names, I'll get it right eventually.
Eventually. Mercutio, Tybalt,
As long as you know which name
Rosencrantz,
is which.
Guildenstern.
For real. Yeah, we're definitely in name overload territory. You also had, I think towards the end of the session, Java spoke up and asked the question that had been on his mind the whole time. Why am I actually in this meeting? And that's when Boris spilled that he was looking out for the crew, knew they were missing a dedicated pilot that they could rely on long term, so he's doing a little matchmaking.
I hear kids. I hear Adam crying. Do you want me to go check on that or leave it?
It's up to you. I'd probably leave it for a couple minutes at least.
Okay.
But yeah, so the meeting, this initial debriefing / meeting is adjourned. Caldwell had indicated he was willing to at least consider some alternative course of action. But you think he might need just a little more convincing at a later time.
Yeah.
But for now, you've got a break to do other things.
All right.
Well, do we want to try and have a narrow tail Liz? Well, narrow and Saoirse.
I was gonna say narrow alone or I think I'm okay with that. I don't know if Saoirse was really prepped for undercover.
Yeah, so Dex had asked whether the base's layout and the general hustle and bustle was enough to enable some sneaky activities. To expound on it, my general answer of maybe, I would say it's not like there are people just walking up and down the halls at all times, like everywhere, and you also haven't been in very much. You don't know how much bigger this this base might be. You can guess from the size of the cafeteria that it's probably a good bit larger, but you don't know how much of that is occupied. Don't know a lot about where you are right now.
Yeah. Saoirse would also be really interested in looking more into any kind of the technology they have for that cloaking.
Okay. Does she have a does she have a preferred line of uh, inquiry, I guess? Does she have somebody she wants to talk to about it? Does she want to just go poking around?
I guess she'd want to go poking around, really.
Okay. So one vote for poking around the base.
Or she could ask, I guess she could ask Boris, like, hey.
My vote would be for talking to Boris.
You would say that, having been under his employ.
It seems like our two kind of immediate options, aside from just getting kicking our feet up for once.
For once.
Yeah, It's
Yeah.
been a little while, I think. Would be to tail Liz or get some information from Boris. Nothing saying we can't do both at the same time. Just depends on who wants to do what.
Hmm. Well, I think Saoirse would actually ask Cade if he would be willing to do that. To go talk to Boris, that is, because she feels like this kind of counts as like computery stuff. Like this is tech involved, right? So
Kid'll kind of look at her funny and be like, "Isn't that more of a Brother Nick question? I just program the machines. I don't make the machines."
she would admit that probably makes more sense.
And he'll just look at Brother Nick like, "Do you want to know?"
Yeah, so he'd be good with going to talk to Boris.
Okay.
Okay, so if
I'll
he's
make sure he
cool for
doesn't
that,
get in any trouble, boss.
yeah. Because I'm so worried about Brother Nick misbehaving.
I know.
She'll just kind of look at him funny, and then she'll look at Java. Wait, is Java still in there right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She'd look at him and she'd be like, "So what did you do to get yourself in this mess?"
Ooh, that's a long story. Are you sure you want to hear it now?
I meant more why General Coldwell was so quick to assign you to us.
Well, I've been a pilot for quite some time. Um, that I know for sure, and I understand that that's a weird phrase to say out loud. Um, actually, not too long ago, in a town not too far from here, I woke up, and before that, I don't remember very much. Um, I knew that I was a pilot. I can remember some images back and forth. There's not a lot that I know about my past, but I do know that I'm a pilot. I had a ship. I've lost it. I've lost my crew. I've lost memories of who I am, but worked really hard to get here. I mean, you had my coffee, right? Like, obviously, I've worked really hard. Um, so, um,
She kind of seems a little confused at that, but she's also smiling about it because it was good coffee, but she's not quite making the connection of what he means by that.
he doesn't really have a good answer for this. I mean, let me speak out of character here. Uh, he really doesn't remember, so it's kind of a difficult question for him to answer. You'd probably see that on his face, like,
She's just gonna say, I meant more along the lines of, did you do something to piss him off so that he wanted you out to the station?
No, actually, I've been begging him to leave. I guess if that pissed him off, then that would make sense, but I've been trying to get off of this planet for as long as I can remember.
Which, granted, isn't that long, but fair.
Yeah, I get that it doesn't carry the same weight when you know
All right.
the backstory, but
Well, as much as I hate to look a gift horse in the mouth, I would like to know how well you can pilot.
that, I assure you, is not something that you have to worry about. I am fantastic. I don't
Mm.
really know how to prove that to you other than you giving me a chance, but as soon as you do, I promise I will make it worth your while.
Where have I heard that before? Sorry. I've heard a few too many men tell me the same thing about a few too many things. So, how about we have a wee bit of a test later, sometime? I'm sure if it's half as good as your coffee, I won't be too disappointed.
Thank you so much.
Is he like sounding teary eyed or something? Or is he
Yes,
just like,
he is so
oh
happy.
my, no. Okay. She's gonna be like, oh no, what is happening now? She's like she is not comfortable with displays of emotion. All right, so she is at that gonna go, yeah, of course. Happy to test you. Anyway, do you know where that Liz lady went?
Uh,
He would not
If
know.
okay, I was gonna ask.
Java would know that she tends to stick to herself, other than she does seem to hang out with Boris sometimes.
I would know
And
the general layout of the base, would I not, Ben?
yeah, you would. So if they ask some questions about that, you'll know.
not exactly. I mean, if you're looking for her, I mean, I know plenty of people around here, and I mean, I know my way around the base. Did you need to talk to her?
It's more looking to get to know her a little more.
This is just
Doesn't always mean we need to talk to her.
Oh, now
So
now
real
you're now you're
quick,
quiet. So this is still in the meeting room, right? Okay.
Yeah, we'll say that everyone else went ahead and went about their business, and the group of you decided to hang back to have a little private chat.
Sounded like Dex was going to say something. So.
And now I'm trying to decide how much of a hang around Nero could stand. For your reference, for context there, Nero is already starting to look pretty anxious. She's now walking around the room, and are there windows, Ben?
They're not in this room, no.
Oh
oh
no,
dear.
yeah, that's
Oh no.
okay. So she's seen everything there is to see in this room, and now she's looking at all of you.
You guys want to go back out of the commissary? There's more food.
Yes.
Oh, you had to mention the food.
I mean, I'm out of coffee, so we're not gonna, don't have anything else to talk about. We can get some food and just hang out. You know,
Like friends.
yeah.
Does he seem really excited about that? Somebody using that word?
He's very excited to have a place to be.
Nero's giving him a skeptical look. If it's good food, I guess.
The coffee's good.
Nero starts toward the door.
Oh, I'm gone.
Feel like we should have them roll to see who was out the door first.
I think a Java can have it because Nero was looking around the room. She was probably farther away from the door by this point. I feel like she didn't make it very far in when we all came in and sat down, and when she started wandering around, she made it to the other side and realized that she was done.
Ah.
Yeah, Nero follows Java out to the food area again.
Saoirse's gonna look for Liz or Boris or find out where Boris might be. I'm bad at this. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, so Boris would have mentioned that he's got a room over in kind of the residential area of the base. Um, just kind of in with everybody else. And so you could mosey on over that way and find his room.
Okay.
Is that what the
I will
group is
mosey
doing,
that
or
way.
are we splitting the party here?
I think we're splitting the party. Nero got enticed by food.
All right.
The evil Dr. Dessert has split the party.
There's gotta be a meme for that. Ethan, are you on it already?
Dessert splitting the party.
Hey, Nero, I know a cool place to drink this coffee.
Oh man, yeah, this is I'm gonna have to update something here.
She looks over at Java. I don't want coffee.
Oh. Well, it doesn't really matter if you want to eat, drink coffee, whatever. I know a cool place.
Okay. Is it
No,
where
no.
we sat?
No, it's this awesome balcony with this great view, and like you can see over all the cliffs, and like there's nothing like it here. It's totally a zen spot.
Okay. She is following Java.
We go check out the balcony nearest the commissary.
Well, we need to get the food first. She's not getting to the balcony without the food. I mean, I guess he could trick her there, actually. Does he trick her to the balcony before food?
Nope.
Okay.
Shows her where all his favorite foods are at, actually.
She gives a few of them a try. She doesn't heap her plate full like she usually does. She is taking more selections of smaller things, smaller portions of more things. She is sampling now.
Nice.
And then she'll follow Java to the balcony, picking at her plate as she walks.
Okay, so since we're splitting up, where are Kate and Brother Nick going?
We're gonna go talk to Boris, right?
Yeah, I guess heading over to Boris's apartment.
Okay. Fair enough.
So we're all looking for Boris, is what I'm hearing. I'm looking for Liz by looking for Boris.
Yeah.
So do Brother
All right.
Nick and I kind of basically end up falling in step with each other?
I was gonna ask if you guys are taking Victor and Tom with you to see Boris and Ahmed, maybe. You've got quite the hangers on right now.
I mean, I suppose. What do you think, Ethan?
Bringing Tom along. Yeah,
Well,
probably
it's
good.
like Tom, Victor, and Ahmed.
Saoirse's gonna tell Victor, like, you keep an eye on him, and then she's gonna be looking at Tom later, and a little bit later, and she'll tell him, hey, keep an eye on Victor.
uh,
All right. So, trying to keep things lined up so I know where everybody is. All right. One last time. Victor,
Got it.
Tom, Ahmed,
Okay. I guess
or
I'll have
me.
I'll keep Ahmed with me. How
Okay.
about that?
Ben,
Sounds good.
would it be easier if we sidelined the food balcony for
Yeah.
now?
What if we just had the NPCs back in the ship and had Victor and um and Tom keep watch over them?
I feel like it might be important for them to uh interact with Boris, maybe?
Okay.
I was actually thinking a different direction. Maybe instead of splitting the party, um, Java and Nero can have an intimate balcony scene, uh, sampling the Iran cuisine here a little bit later
Mm-hmm.
on.
Okay.
Like maybe Saoirse says, "No, Saoirse, you need to come with us for now." Or
I hate to do that though.
No, Nero.
yeah,
You
no,
need to
Nero,
come with
yeah.
us. No, Nero, no.
Yeah, Neo.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and
would that make it easier though?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with that.
would be it would be easier. And Caldwell had expressed interest in having the prisoners brought and rehoused.
Does he have any resources for us to use to do that?
Basically, he was going to take them off your hands. If
We already able to make a plea for them to be treated fairly.
yes, and his answer was that he considered that they would be more useful as bargaining chips than as corpses.
All
So
right, cool.
he
That's
doesn't
right. That's
intend
right.
to put them in the dirt.
Now I remember this. All right, cool.
So that's agreeable.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay. Then as long as Cade gives over just a code to get onto the ship, then Caldwell will send some people to go and fetch them.
Sure. Kate will give him a code to open the ship and get the prisoners out for escorting.
Now, not
Desired.
to make things difficult again, but do we maybe want one of us to go with that? Or do we want to just kind of take player trust and take it to the NPC trust level? Character trust level.
I think given that General Caldwell and Boris are involved,
Okay.
and if Ben would be able to give us like some sort of like insight check essentially, then I'd be up for that. But
If you guys want to just say we handle that off screen a little bit later,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah,
So
let's
we can
do
sure.
that. In fact, maybe because I still want to do, I do still want to have the Nero and Avery scene. Maybe they do that and then go have their food after talking with Boris, and other
Yeah.
people split off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. So first to Boris.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. It really sounded
Hey.
like Ben wanted everyone there.
I wasn't trying to push the group to that. I was just trying to make sure I knew because I didn't want it to be like, oh wait, we should have had Victor here and we forgot to say what he that sort of thing. Um,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Someone has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
So anyway,
we
uh,
trust
a
that will
lot
be
of
handled
you,
well.
yes, one mosey on around the base to find Victor's room. Sorry, Boris's room, and you eventually find him. You, as you're making your way through the base, uh, enter basically one of the barracks sections of the place, and you gather that the whole place is kind of centered around the cafeteria and some of those other uh, rooms that you had passed, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't know all the way out there, but it seems like kind of surrounding that there are barracks in a couple different groupings. And I guess would Java be giving them the grand tour as much as he knows it?
Oh yeah, and he's super excited.
Oh no.
All right, what does he? You want to have at it, or you just want to tell them out of character what he tells them?
Um, Sleep.
We're generally pretty chill about doing in or out of character, just whatever is it's pretty much up to the player at any given time.
So, I mean, out of character. I mean, I guess he would tell them, the things that he does know, right? That there is an off limits section in the lower areas of the base. Uh, we're in the barrack housing area with a few ancillary rooms and facilities. There's rec rooms. There is obviously communal showers and things of that nature that you need to survive in a base like that. Um, there are a few windows, like a lot of windows actually, and multiple of the balconies that he recommended with, as he said, great scenic views of the cliffside. Um, in addition to that, um, he leads you to believe that like the base is pretty secure, right? Like we're not likely to be found um, by Tabukan forces anytime soon. He doesn't really know the specifics, but he knows that the base is very well guarded. Um, what else would he tell you? Um, yeah, and in addition to that, like, so the lower section is off limits, and the roof, the upper section is off limits. That's generally everything that he would know about the base.
Why are they off limits?
Um, I don't know that he exactly knows, but he does follow the rules as he was told.
Hmm.
He should not go to those places, and therefore he doesn't.
Nero mutters something about rooftops on this planet.
First it's the Tabukans, and now it's the Uralans.
Everybody denying her a good rooftop.
All right.
They're just living to upset you.
It's not a good idea.
What'd you say?
I said that's not a good idea.
No, it's not. You're very right.
Yeah, and so as Java leads the way to the barracks area that Boris indicated, Um, you uh, you notice that this one uh, is relatively sparsely populated. There's not very many people moving around this area, and you pass a decent number of rooms with doors open, and they're just bare bare furnishings with no apparent occupants. But you find the one that is Boris's, door shut. Boom, boom, boom. He come to the door, crack it open, and then peek his head out, looking around both sides. All right, I'll be standing room only in here. Give me a minute. And he turns around, leaving the door open.
We did
And
just bring a huge retinue to him.
he goes back into his little barracks room, and you can see he's got a couple extra desks and a table that are uh, occupying a good portion of the walls in the room. And he's got a little bit of equipment um, hooked up. There's some sort of power converter set up, and he's got a couple of different data slabs, and he's actually got some paper notebooks too, uh, strewn around, and
Oh, a relic in every way.
mm-hmm. And he's got his bed at least somewhat made. And he's not a slob, but he's not military tidy either. So he goes over, gets a couple things off of a bench at the foot of his bed, and then kind of gestures. Yeah, make yourselves comfortable. And he goes sits in his rolling chair, turns his back to the corner, and faces you all as you file in. All right, so what is it you want to talk about?
Well, we've got a couple questions, if you've got the time for it. You seem to be in pretty high demand around here.
He scratches the underside of his chin and says, "Yeah, well, I've got time. Haven't been up to anything too urgently lately. I haven't seemed to quite know what to do with me since we lost the lab." He gestures at the stuff behind him. Managed to run off with some of it at least.
What exactly were you trying to run off with?
Yeah, gives her kind of a strange look and says, "I didn't think it'd been that long, but you'll recall I was looking into the blood sample you brought us, trying to connect the dots with uh, bits and pieces of Tabukan uh, lab manuals you brought us from that derelict, and I was trying to figure out anything I could. Learn more about biology than I'd past month than I'd ever wanted to. Haven't got very far though. And he looks extra tired as he relays that last bit. But he's got away with most of the notes and at least one sample.
All right. So then the Tabukans are probably aware that you're aware of what they were working on.
Oh no, I mean we trashed anything left behind before we bailed. Hate to lose some of those, but I was too sensitive to move.
Well, now we have a living, breathing sample for you, if you'd like to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, he
Got a pretty good sense of humor, to be honest.
he looks over at Tom and says, "Well, yeah, I guess I'd hoped that I'd get the chance, but foreign relations aren't exactly my cup of tea. Don't really know where to start without putting a foot wrong. Most people don't really like to be test subjects or get interrogated." And but he does look with interest at Tom. I suppose you couldn't exactly fess up at first that you actually had a hybrid with you anyway, until you could sort more things out. But yeah, that would have been a lot easier to start with.
So, how long do you need then?
He makes a vague gesture. I mean, as long as I could have him, but there are a lot of tests that wouldn't exactly run on a living subject. And yeah,
Can't you run tests on the ship?
Correct
he
me if I'm wrong, but the information we brought you, Boris, I'm quite sure every test ever run, or that you could think to run, has been run on Tom already. You could probably just pull up the results.
Yeah, and then you can leave.
he
Harsh.
he gives Nero a kind of a bemused grin. Yeah, if we can crack open all the test results and the studies they ran on Tom and his like, yeah, I don't guess they'd exactly need me anymore, though they they have found some other uses for me recently
But you're not
that
staying, right?
well, he looks a little conflicted. I don't know. I guess I mean, being a refugee wasn't exactly my idea of getting out of Dodge. So, I suppose I could be persuaded if you had a better place in mind. Victor speaks up. You're telling me you'd rather sit at boring desk looking at papers and tablets instead of flying amongst the stars? Hmm.
Boris.
He gives Victor kind of a an annoyed look. Yeah, I remember the last couple things we got up to flying amongst the stars.
Oh,
Says with
Victor.
air quotes.
Oh, I actually haven't been told any of those stories. So, Victor, what's your asking price?
I'll have to think on that one. Perhaps with enough credits you could squeeze some of the juicier ones out of me. Boris just glares at him. And then at Saoirse. Don't you even think about it. It's not even worth the money. Anyway, you said you had questions for me. You have any questions other than how soon I'm ready to leave?
Well, I had. She looks at Narrow to see if Narrow was going to say anything more about
No,
him leaving.
Nara's kind of sinking into the wall.
Saoirse's going to clear her throat. Yeah, I had a few questions for you. One, and she's looking around to make sure that it is truly like a private thing. And a certain teleporter hasn't bebopped their way in.
They have not.
Okay. So I've got a strange impression of your friend that was in the meeting with us, and I didn't mean the general. Is there something we ought to know about that Liz girl?
He gives her a confused look. You realize she could be like my granddaughter.
Saoirse's like looking, and you can almost see like the little loading dial on her face. Like, what is he talking? And then she's like, "Oh, oh, no, that's disgusting. No, I wasn't. Ah." And then she's like, starts rubbing at her eyes, like scrubbing with her hands, like she has some unwanted images burning into the back of her eyelids right now. She's just like, "Oh no, no, no."
Boris just shakes his head and face palms.
I wasn't. I didn't think that. Listen, you have every right to act about it and stay here if you want. I'm not trying to say you're shacking up with someone who's a third your age. I'm trying to ask what's going on with her. Seems nervous. And
Nervous.
we've been told that she tends to spend a lot of time with you, Granddad.
Yeah, I suppose so. She's the one that found this place.
This place
Yeah, he
being here.
gestures around. Yeah, this base,
She just wandered upon a base full of ancient technology that cloaks itself almost perfectly from anybody.
Yeah, well, he gets, he kind of hesitates and looks around at the group. It's well, there's a good explanation for it, but honestly, I don't know how much of it I'm allowed to tell you. At least quite yet. Uh,
Saoirse's like giving him a really deadpan look. And she's just like, "You're telling me
uh, let's
that we
just.
hopped across how many planets with how many hostages and a bloody alien with Tabukan military secrets, and you're not sure how much you're allowed to tell us?"
Yeah, well, he's holding up his hands in like a placating gesture. See, it's not that. It's just.
P.S. Anybody else in the group, I would love to know what the other characters' take on this interaction is going, because there's so many people in the room other than the two of them.
um, I think Tom by now has probably asked Cade uh, if Saoirse and Boris are related.
Kate
Wow.
would probably just laugh and say,
Because she called him grandpa, or because they're so similar? I feel like that would come
no.
through telepathically.
Yeah, Kate would probably say, no, they have an adversarial, affectionate relationship with a, hint of confusion over all that. Like, don't know where it comes from, don't know why, it just is.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Tom will just accept that answer. He seems like you'll sense like intent focus, and even looking at him like he's watching Saoirse and Boris closely, like, just watching this whole interaction.
I mean, Cade will also kind of imagine a chibi Saoirse poking a chibi Boris with a stick, which makes him mad, but she then like disses around laughing, kind of like a
Oh my
she
word.
likes bugging him.
Nice.
That would be a funny sketch.
Oh my word.
Yeah, that's a wonderful mental image. um, yeah, and Victor is just arms folded across his chest, leaning back against the wall and grinning. He's just watching Boris, loving this whole thing. Uh,
Sounds like he's excited to have somebody other than himself give Boris a hard time.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and you get the sense that he had missed something about being around Boris.
Cuties.
But Boris was, in the middle of trying, kind of hemming and hawing and trying to explain that it's not that you haven't done enough or anything, or that he couldn't trust you, or that Tabukans don't trust you. But he says it's just that it's not entirely my information to tell, and I mean I can ask, uh, I I can see it's just
Saoirse's arms are crossed at this point, and she looks completely nonplussed.
it's a little sensitive is all. Uh, y-
Who's sensitive? The girl or the information? Unless we've switched talking about you, and I'm not sure about it.
well, maybe a little of both. But look, so you remember that message I gave you, right, Narrow?
Uh, yeah, with all the weird writing on it.
Yeah. So I can at least tell you there are certain people who keep themselves behind the scenes, um, who know stuff and sometimes pretty old stuff. I probably got some secret archives or something, but uh, one of them gave me that to help you get in touch with people who could help you on Tabuk. I
One of them like
assume
her.
that, uh, probably. And that worked out well for you, didn't it? I hadn't heard otherwise. I'm assuming that worked for you.
So who is she?
You mean Liz?
Yeah.
Think of her as well, a keeper of the peace of sorts. Uh, though it's obviously not going so hot right now.
Is that why she got upset when Brother Nick was talking to Caldwell?
Probably. He seems to get a little more comfortable at that turn in the conversation. Yeah, your idea is a good one, I think. He looks at Brother Nick. As much as I know anything about that stuff, uh, help him get better footing and all. I think she's probably afraid that that's going to prolong the fighting. As much as certain people have vested interests in fighting for you know, better terms for Urala. Uh, ultimately, if they can just end the fighting and get it over with, uh, Duke's gonna let them pretty much have their own, you know, continue on their own way. It's just with a few added bells and whistles. There's some people who, well, can't really abide by having somebody else tell them what to do, especially somebody they don't like. And then he shrugs. Uh, others of us don't necessarily care so much, as long as there's, well, as long as you can sleep well at night.
Would she try to sabotage Caldwell?
Mm. He looks thoughtful for a few moments. No, I don't think so. Uh, no, I could see maybe if you were going to do something just monumentally reckless. But I think she's not been able to influence him all that much. She's just been trying to stay on the fringes and well, she hasn't needed to do much. She's told me that much, that his course has been well lined up with what she would have hoped.
You're all being conquered, is what she.
Well, not necessarily the best outcome in a perfect world, but take it that they're more pragmatic types. That I think their assessment was best case is little to no fighting, you know, quick and over with, and let the let the new status quo settle into place.
Not what the Rollins want.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a mixed bag and a half. The more time I spend here, the more I don't understand how these people ever got along and ended their own holy wars. Props to whoever capped that off. But they don't really love talking about that time.
Or did they have food fights?
Mm. There are only hints here and there. They haven't really let me go snooping around through their histories either. But I think there were some righteous disagreements about exactly the nature of your way to follow the Thox.
That would explain the large disagreements throughout the country versus the city.
Yeah, in the capital, they'd have you believe that all is all is peaceful and dandy, and everyone agrees. But that's far from the case. Um, so he kind of shakes himself and looks around. I don't know if I got off topic there a little bit. Uh, Hopefully that answers some of your questions about Liz. She's certainly no threat.
I don't know, she sounds plenty dangerous to me. Someone with interest counter to Yerlin's. Someone who doesn't like us talking with General Caldwell. What's his reaction to her saying that?
His reaction is rueful. Well,
He definitely doesn't like me saying that, or he's kind of like
yeah,
begrudgingly admitting that when I say it that way, it doesn't sound great.
yeah, it's kind of a little bit of both. He's definitely doesn't like hearing it that way, but he doesn't just have an immediate rebuttal against that. Um, I can only tell you my perspective on her. Don't think she'd do anything to actively hurt the cause. Definitely not in favor of the Tubukans. I think she was just looking forward to an end to it.
Then she can help it end here. The Tupukans take here, they're gonna take the next planet.
Unless, did they already take our planet? Is that what you meant
Is this her
by
planet?
foreign relations?
He shrugs. I don't actually know what her homeworld is. Um, Not like she told me her whole life story. But she does seem to have a vested interest in helping the people here.
You should talk to her. Why are you guys letting Nero talk so much?
Well, it is Boris.
That's true, that's true.
She has a pretty vested interest in talking with Boris.
And the only time she also talks this much is when it's Kareem, but he hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah, Dersha almost said something about Kareem, by the way, when Java was like, oh, there's this amazing balcony.
I was thinking it.
Well, in response to Nero, Boris says, I won't stop you. Just if you would try to talk to her somewhere quiet, and I'm trusting you with this. And then he glares over at Java. Goes for you too. I turned into an old softy. Let it get the better of me, but don't make me regret what I told you. And he eyes all of them. Yeah, that goes for you too, Victor. Wipe that smug grin off your face. And Victor just chuckles. I think you regret lots of things, Boris. Not much I can do about this. And Ahmed seems like he's trying to kind of shrink out the door at the very back.
My.
Like, I do not feel like I'm supposed to be here right now. This is the vibe you're getting from his body language.
Mom and Dad are fighting. I don't want to be here.
More like my technically current captors and my potentially future one of my captors are
Oh no.
arguing about things that may or may not have should have been said to present company. He's immediately, yeah. Anyway, uh, he definitely looks very uncomfortable. Tom is just soaking it all in. He He asks Sirsha if it's all right for him to ask a question of Boris.
How about it?
He then goes ahead and everyone hears this in their minds. A question clearly directed at Boris, and he asks, uh, "Have you discovered a way to produce more hybrids like me? You mentioned you were studying my blood, and you had notes." Boris looks very surprised at that question, and then says, "Well, that's what you're talking about, relaxing. Uh, no, yeah, no, I have not figured that out. Uh, no, but if I figured out, you can bet I'll tell you first."
Really? Saoirse's gonna give him like a deadpan look.
Yes, really. I mean, he just kind of gestures at all of Tom. I mean, look, he's here with you. You apparently trust him. Uh, which obviously means he's not aligned with Tabuk. Uh, he's not interested in being their plaything. So, if I could give him the keys to his own kingdom, yeah, you better believe I'll come running.
You're right then. I'm looking forward to seeing those old bones run then.
Yeah, they still can. Barely. uh, but he points a finger at Sirsha and then at Victor. I don't plan on doing it unless I really need to. I'm really hoping I don't need to. Anyway, he looks over at Jabba at this point. So, kid, what do you think? You in with these people yet? They take you in?
Ah, that was another question I had for you. Exactly what did this poor sap do that you want him out of the base so bad?
Yeah, well, he just kind of grins and looks over at Jabba. He's all right. Just mm, something about his urgency kind of clicked with me. He'll do fine out there. No use getting tangled up in all this more than he has to. Avery, you're not muted, are you?
No, I'm just. I don't even know what I would say in this situation.
Okay. Yeah, that's all right. And if you want to take a second, you can. Do, do you think
It
he
is
would
pretty,
just
yeah.
do you think he would just kind of like grin and bear it, or do you think he'd say something verbally to respond to all that? Because his impression would have been he doesn't really know Boris much. He's kind of the
I mean,
quirky old
he
guy.
definitely would just be like smiling and like super excited. Like again, he at this point he's just excited. He's trying to be quiet and trying to be super friendly. Like he doesn't want to mess this up. Like that is his main objective. Is like he has a chance and he doesn't want to screw up.
Yeah, trying to make a good first impression and all that.
Yeah.
That works.
So he's just really looking to get off this.
Yes, he wants to go so bad. Nothing else matters to him at this point. Like he'll do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and looking over at him, Boris will grin and just say, "Just look at him, practically quivering with excitement to get off of this rock."
Ugh. All right, never mind. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Oh, come on.
Nah, your old man speak is putting me off.
Yeah, what does that say about your speak or whatever that is?
Excuse you. There's nothing wrong with my speak.
That's good.
Quivering like a bowl full of jelly.
Really.
Don't like word.
I don't know if I like this gift.
Oh boy. All right, I'm gonna rein it in, rein it in. Yeah, so Boris is scrubbing at his eyes. Look, if you tell me how it goes with Liz. Try not to spook her any more than you're already going to. And
Figure if she puts up with you, then I won't be anywhere near as spooky.
yeah, well, I'm considerably less threatening than the whole lot of you could be.
She looks up at him, and he's like significantly taller than her, and she's like, "Right, yeah, come see it. Yep, definitely."
He just throws up his hands. Looks like he's is this just don't know what I can say to that kind of expression. Yeah, my days of being threatening are hopefully over. But hey, like I said, a lot of you finds thinks of a better place for me to set up shop and try to stay out of trouble. You let me know.
Mm.
I don't probably not the well, beating around at the edges of unrest everywhere is not my favorite thing, but if you can get me somewhere else, I sure wouldn't mind, and especially if you paid me visits every once in a while. That'd be enough for me.
Does the room
Well,
fall this silent?
I'm
Miss
kind of
you,
imagining
Boris.
so. All right, go ahead.
Java would just definitely tell you he's gonna miss you.
Oh yeah. Thanks, kid. Yeah,
Not going to let you down.
hey, don't worry about me. You got all of them to worry about. And he you you notice he glances briefly at Tom and then seems to pivot what he was about to say. And Saoirse there'll rip your head off if you look at her sideways, so just stay on her good side.
Listen, everybody seems to be capable of staying on the good side except a select few. And she'll eye Boris and then slide her eyes over to Cade real quick and then back to Boris.
Hey, Kate will just look innocent.
How does he pull that off?
No. Ouch.
Oh, that's great.
Give
I
us
was
a
gonna
perform
say I was
check.
pretty sure a permanent smirk was on his face 24/7.
Yeah, I'm thinking we might need a perform skill check from Cade.
Okay. I have that skill around here somewhere.
Says Cade, trying to
Hey
look at
now.
it.
Okay. Well, whether you consider it incongruous or not, Cade manages a very convincing look of innocence.
Saoirse ignores it right past it.
She doesn't buy it.
Doesn't for one.
Hey, he's been practicing his poker face.
Excuse me. So, Boris is gonna look around and say, "Well, I do have some notes I'm supposed to be studying and
I want to talk
some
to you
work to
alone.
do." Okay.
Nera looks around at everyone else with not really with that an intimidating or threatening stare, more of a hopeful look of am I doing authority right?
I was gonna like give her 2 thumbs up.
Victor will go over and wrap Boris in another uh, big hug and just say, "It's good seeing you again, Boris. We'll say goodbye before we leave, but maybe not. Maybe you come with us." And he claps him on the back and then walks past Nero, giving her a little pat on her shoulder. And Boris gives a nod to Java as he turns to go as well. Yeah, I'll make sure to say goodbyes if they're warranted, but guess for now we'll see. Yeah, rest of you, just go on out. Let me talk to Nero.
And the room clears, unless anybody else had any parting comments they wanted to make. Okay. When the room clears, Nero closes the door if it wasn't closed behind the last person. Looks over at Boris. We did all that for you.
He looks a little surprised at that. R- really? Oh, for me.
Yes,
I,
you were trapped here.
yeah, that's true. They didn't give me a whole lot of choice. And
But you're not leaving now. You can leave now, and you're not going to, are you?
well, no, I didn't say that.
You're not
Uh,
coming with us.
he looks at Nero. He says, "That it's nothing personal. It's just, and I definitely would love to get off this rock, but I just don't think the spacefaring life is what I'm cut out for anymore. Uh, I guess you don't really he goes over and sits down on his bed, kind of looking down at the floor. I don't I don't guess you really I don't know if you remember on Anagras when those well, those dirty cops or whatever they were after us. Uh and we went and got ourselves caught and followed. Were you in the van with me?
Was she? I think we were all together, weren't we?
That's possible. I think the party might have been split at that point, but I'm not sure. I know it was I know it was Boris and Signy at least, and also one of our uh, briefly there characters. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking that Nero was somewhere else.
I
I'm just
think
not
you're
100% about
right,
that.
because I vaguely remember remembering. I vaguely remember remembering. Um, vaguely remember thinking to myself that you guys didn't have any any wars, anyone to actually, use a gun beyond what an expert.
Okay.
So no, I think you're right.
So yeah, he would ask kind of like he's not super sure.
No.
Uh, yeah, well, things were getting kind of desperate, and felt time was running out before something terrible was going to happen. And we were, eh, well, they were walking up to, obviously impound us. They'd seen through our cover story and didn't know what was going to happen. Well, Signy picked up on it and she fired the first shot, and wasn't too far behind. Uh, and he looks pretty upset telling all this again, but um, she would at least remember having heard the maybe at least the highlights from Signy before. Um, but Boris would not have said anything about this. Well, we thought that. Well, I don't know what we thought. I don't know if Signy thought at all, but I thought that we couldn't afford to leave any of them as witnesses. They weren't. I don't think they expected us to do what we did, but we didn't leave any of them to tell the truth about what we were up to. And he
What
hesitates here.
saying?
Well, when we got into their van, we were gonna take it with us too and go dispose of all the bodies somewhere out of the way. I
Are you
mean,
saying you don't like killing?
well, turned out they had some sort of it was some sort of surveillance van, and everything we'd done was already recorded and transmitted anyway. So uh, it's not that I mean, I don't love killing anybody, but especially not people I didn't actually need to kill, and didn't need to kill any of them. Um, and I did, and don't know anything else about them. Don't know. Don't want to know. Anyway, I just didn't ever want to be in that spot again. And he just, at that point, he stops talking, and he's got tears running down his face.
Yeah, Nero's sitting somewhere at this point. Not on the bed next to him, because that's weird, but sitting somewhere else. Like just pulled a chair over or something.
Mm. And he just looks at her and kind of shrugs. Not sure what else I can say about it, but
You're not coming back. See you again, but you're not coming.
I mean, I don't know, Nero. I just can't seem to get away from it. I haven't had to kill anybody here yet. He attempts kind of a half-hearted chuckle,
You're not.
but I don't know. What Caldwell's got me working on, I'm hoping is not gonna be anything too. I I don't want to really work on a weapon for him because I don't know how he'd use it. Oh, but if I could just find somebody somewhere who could tell me I'm never gonna have to pick up a gun again and wonder if I need to, if I need to use it.
I'll do that for you.
Thanks. He whispers and reaches out and puts a hand on her forearm.
Nah, she pulls him in for a hug. Stands up and pulls him in for a hug.
He kind of stumbles into it, but then he holds on tight. Thank you.
I did think we were rescuing you.
Well, maybe you can. I just don't know how you're gonna. Well, you're gonna have to convince Caldwell to let loose of me. He's convinced I can figure this thing out. And he gestures at
Maybe
his
he
notes.
can. Maybe he doesn't have to lose.
Oh,
Well, fair enough.
Okay. Let's go.
And he starts kind of like a little something. He reaches over and to it, grabs a tissue and blows his nose and starts wiping his eyes on his coat sleeves and
Yeah, Nero's got to wipe her eyes too.
uh, he No, he reaches and hands a tissue over to her. Can't have you go back out there looking like you've been crying or anything. That'd
It
be out
won't
of
look
character for
scary
you.
again.
Yeah. Gotta keep that Saoirse in line. She's hmm. Oh, she's a feisty one, that's for sure.
But she's good. Good friend.
Well, it's good to hear. Seems like she's gotten a lot more comfortable in her own skin since the last time I saw her.
She likes bossing people around.
Uh, yeah, who doesn't? Well, hey, by the way,
Mm.
you should tell her to make sure she doesn't let on to Caldwell. She can do that healing bit unless she wants to have him trying to finagle her into joining the resistance. And seems like they're a little short on psychics lately. They're trying to scrunch him up wherever. I assume she's still keeping a low profile. She hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah. I'll let her know.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go now.
All right. I'll see you around.
Nero makes her way out of the room. Has everyone moved on from the entrance, or are they just all standing around there?
Saoirse's gonna be talking with Java about the finer points of coffee when Nero walks up.
Kid will be ignoring the two of them.
Oh, we've got a Google Docs now. I like it, Ethan.
Sweet. Yeah, somewhere I may need to make a spot to stash links to some reference documents for the group to use because there've been a couple times that's been helpful.
You can always pin things.
Yeah, I think I've done that. If I can remember. Uh, yeah, I was gonna say there's the shopping trip list, but I don't know if I linked the like the actual account of how much money you're sitting on right now and what you've been spending it on.
Yeah.
Here.
Uh,
I don't know if Saoirse needs to know that.
when Nero comes out and sees everyone kind of still idling by and talking, she makes a point of saying loudly, "He doesn't have a wind cutter."
Is she saying this like trying to make it loud enough that Boris can hear that back in the room?
No, she's saying this for the benefit of everyone else, but
Oh.
Boris might be able to hear it anyways. This is her. Yes, we were totally talking about wind cutters, and that's
Yeah,
why it looks like
Saoirse
a
just kind of
Pryan.
gives her like a up and down look, and then she just nods. Well, we'll keep looking.
She says what again?
We'll keep looking.
Okay.
Brother Nick will give a wry smile and said, "And here I thought a planet of pacifists would be rife with windcutters."
And we are becoming the most sarcastic group in the universe, and I love it.
Your sarcasm levels are growing. Becoming dangerous, even.
Nara looks over at Java. I want that food now.
Anybody else want food?
Tom says in everyone's minds, I was promised a bathroom.
That's disturbing.
Afterward, I could go for more food. I have not yet gotten used to the eating patterns you humans have. So at this point, it's getting a bit later in the evening. Supper has probably been put away, but there would still be food to be found for those who know where to look. So,
Definitely gonna take everybody back, and then I mean I feel like working in that space, Java would have access to several things that might not be intended to be available at these times.
Oh man, is Java trying to become Nero's best friend right now?
Yes.
So is there something you guys are particularly looking for? I can see what I could find.
Rainbow unicorn cakes.
Ah,
We
yes.
don't have those.
Well,
Do we?
yeah, I was gonna say, hold on. So this is a bit of info that Java would know by now. This is something that has become a very important point of lore. Um,
Very important
the
point. Yeah, that's about right.
the Uralin snack cake, uh, akin to the national bird or gemstone or whatever, is the unicorn snack cake. Uh, that is in contrast to the Tabukan state snack cake, which is the Twinkie, which was the first thing that Nero discovered and became addicted to, more so than she is to most foods. But yeah, unfortunately, Twinkies are pretty much non-existent around here. But unicorn cakes are they can be found. They are not. It's not like there's just boxes and boxes full of them, but people do get them where they can, and they're not quite contraband or anything, but they are somewhat coveted out here in this isolated resistance base.
Would they be the kind of thing I could just find in the commissary, or would that be like a special item you'd have to pay for?
Let's see. Let's do a let's have him do a connect skill check from Java. See if he's see how well connected he is. If he's able to score up a couple people who got extras.
So is that connect plus something?
Yeah. So if you click connect, it will most likely give you the option to choose an attribute. And I think in your case, it doesn't really matter other than dexterity. So I'd normally probably say charisma.
think I did that right.
Alas. So typically a 7 is like the standard success on one of these skill checks. Sometimes depending on if it's a much more difficult thing to accomplish, it might be a little higher than that, but anything below a 7 is always a failure. Um, so, unfortunately, Java texted a couple of people that he knew had some extras, but they're not. They're either not willing to part with them or have already eaten theirs. And they do tell you, one of your buddies texts you back that somebody's supposed to bring a few more in a couple of days when they bring back some more rations for the soldiers, but might be able to hook you up then.
So can't get that. What about something else?
Cake?
That could be found. I've
Yeah.
got some kind of generic, probably
No, do they
fairly
have
mediocre
off-brand?
cake.
They have off-brand unicorn cakes.
And then they'd have like one
Generic
of
space
those
cake number 3.
one of those bakery cake kind of things. It's not great, but when you just want something sweet, it's better than nothing.
Oh no, is it like one of those Quaker puffed rice things?
Oh no! Oh boy! I actually
Definitely
wasn't
think
even thinking
Java
that
would
direction.
try and convince you it's great.
Oh, dude. Okay, actually, hold on a second.
It's the best cake he's ever had.
um, yes. So that's a wonderful idea, Ethan. I love it. Thank you for that. Um, let's see. Let me get is that gonna come on over? Oh, it's like not letting me. Hmm. Okay, well I can do that. So when Nero asks about cake, Java probably thinks, "Oh, yeah, we've got cakes." Oh man, those look even worse. Boy. Yeah, that actually kind of is what they look like out of the bag, though.
Oh.
They're more brown because they're like chocolate flavored. So
Okay. Okay. There it
Great.
is. Uh, Nero looks skeptically at it, but accepts it. Bites in.
Java just looks expecting, like so excited, ready to see you be also excited to eat this cake.
Oh no.
Kid will just pass on the cake.
Huh. Now I have to decide if Nero has standards.
What
Yeah,
a
in the
Roll
difficult
for
decision to make.
standards.
I was saying in the
Roll
past
for
you have rolled for standards. It was like a physical
That's
save, or it was like a
fantastic.
survival thing? It was something along those lines to see how she assessed the taste.
I have, haven't I? Okay.
She turned down. I don't remember what it was she turned down exactly, but there was something that did not sit well with her.
Uh. hmm. Oh. Hmm. Okay, so point of order. We can't actually change our level to 11 either because it affects the saves.
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna put level
True
11 in
that.
faction.
That's fair.
Arrow is now the level 11 faction. I was like, how did her evasion save get to 3? That's not right.
Ow.
Invade your standards.
Yeah. It's like, you can miss me with those cakes.
All right.
Yep.
There's enough chocolate in it. He said it's a little bit more brown because it's got chocolate. There's enough chocolate in it that she's not like beaming or excited about it, but she is nomming away.
Glad you like it. A lot of people complain about the extra protein powder, but it's actually like super good, right?
Nara looks over, her mouth full because those things don't exactly eat easy. She is having to chew it a lot more than she normally does. It's good.
You want one, Cersei? There's plenty.
Oh, Brother Nick will happily take some of these that are offered. He was like, "Oh, these were a real treat back at the Abbey."
Oh no. They're old man cakes.
Oh, pancakes.
They are.
The only thing left is for Boris to poke his head out like, hey, somebody's got rice cakes.
Oh no.
But no, you guys
Uh,
are off in some other part of the facility now.
has Avery, not Avery, sorry, has Java taken us to the promised balcony? Yeah.
That cut out a little for me. Is that a yes? You guys are going to the balcony?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I was trying to say, I think Java would definitely also have offered Tom a cake because he was curious to see how Tom eats that exactly, or if he does.
Yeah. So Tom would accept the cake, and he'd pick it up, and um, with his so his mouth has mostly been closed around Java, um, mouth such as it is. So he's got the 4 extra kind of mandibles, and quite a number of you know sharp teeth in his mouth. It's hidden back behind that, and kind of fleshy bits that can seal it all closed. But he just opens up a little bit enough to kind of flick his tongue, and Java hears in his mind, extra protein powder, you said. Fair enough. And he'll he'll put the whole thing in, like his mouth just opens and just takes the whole thing effortlessly. Um, opening much wider than a typical person's even could. opening all the way.
Do we think protein powder is the key to helping the Gakari? the what's their name?
Yeah, Jakari.
Jakari. The Jakari.
Um,
Because LOL. I'm just imagining all of them now as like bodybuilders.
I know, we're like little gym rats.
Yep, they're all gym
Yep.
rats.
yeah, he just takes the whole thing and don't even like after a moment he just swallows. Like no chewing that you notice. And Java gets a mental image of kind of just with a sense of indifference. And Tom says, "Well, it seems suitable. Not as good as the real thing, but that's okay."
Wow.
Um,
We can take the rest of these cakes. I got this really cool place I was telling Mara about earlier. It's awesome. Do you guys want to see it? It's got the best view. You seem like you guys have been working real hard and just need a place to relax. I know where to go.
Okay.
yeah, Tom seems agreeable.
Oh, hello. Did y'all hear me?
No.
Okay, I couldn't hear y'all either.
Oh no, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. My entire computer just froze for like a solid 20 seconds.
No.
The last thing I heard was us talking about the Jakari being gym rats.
Yeah. Java is taking us to a special place.
Mm-hmm. Taking
Oh,
you to
to the balcony. Cool.
And Tom also just took the whole cake in one gulp. But yeah, they'll follow along as well. Everybody goes. Um,
So describe what we see at the balcony here, because I'm uncertain what exactly the environment around us is.
okay, so
Sorry, Ben.
that's all right. The balcony, it's comes off one. There's kind of it's a long walkway that uh, goes alongside the cafeteria and some of these other rooms, and there's a good bit of balcony outside it. Uh, Large windows that overlook it, and uh, there are, there are quite a few people out, but there's room to go find a spot that's got enough space between your group and other people that you have a semblance of privacy. But uh, what you're stepping out onto, uh, it feels like you're at the top of the world. Uh, can look up behind, and there's no apparent mountain peak above the building behind you. And it looks like you can just see forever
Hmm.
all the way across. You see other lower mountains. See a couple far off that are as tall as or maybe even taller than the one you're on currently. But you're well above the thicker, soupier, moving currents of air, and just full starry night sky above you. The sun is long set by now, but
Java say when we all get up there.
yeah, there's essentially no light pollution up here, so it's just stunning starscape. and there's a strong but not too strong breeze that it's kind of an updraft at the edges of the balcony. Then the residual airflow blowing over the seats and everyone gathered just feels like a pretty perfect temperature too.
Is it possible to fall off the balcony?
It not accidentally. It doesn't look that way. Um, it is it just looking at it, it's got a um kind of a clear, you almost don't notice it until you get close enough, but a transparent panel that rises up the chest height or a little higher, depending on how tall you are. Um, and if Nero is inclined to test its sturdiness, it seems not to give.
She's not
He's still
looking. She was actually looking to hop up on like the railing or something. But if there's no
Oh,
railing to hop
Saoirse's
up on,
gonna be like
I mean, there's not
freaking out.
exactly a railing, but I mean the little.
There's not exactly railing.
Like
OSHA, your OSHA has no power here.
I mean, well, the plexiglass type thing is, I guess you could call it railing, but I just mean like, it doesn't look like what we would call a railing, but there's a top edge of it that she could climb up onto if she wants to.
that sounds supremely uncomfortable to sit on top of. Like sitting on a
Is
pane of
there like
glass.
a
I mean,
light pole, Ben, or something?
it's a little thicker than like a pane of glass, but it's definitely not like a comfortable place to sit by any means.
Yeah, no. So when we get to the point, actually, this probably would have happened way before it. Nero was right up at the edge and looking over. If
Yeah,
there are any
so
mommy instincts in the group, there's the kid running right to the edge of the Grand Canyon.
yeah, so she's probably having to stand on her tiptoes to get her chin up over the edge of this thing.
If she can
Um,
see through it clearly enough, she doesn't need to do that.
okay. Yeah, she can. So she's I'm picturing she's got her forehead pressed against it, looking down.
Yes, absolutely. There are now narrow forehead smears on the plexiglass.
And so yeah, what she can see, she can just barely make out kind of the edge of building down below, but then it seems like it's a little more recessed, if that's the right term, a little further back, closer to the mountain than the balcony you're on right now. Doesn't see any obvious balconies from the angle she's got, but then just mountainside falling down and down below and into the mists.
Here we join the comment. Teleporting is amazing.
Isn't it though? This place is awesome. I love the stars.
Bravo's so cute. Just like a precious little cinnamon.
Yeah, if nobody has anything to bring up in conversation, Nero will start something. Looks around at folks.
Saoirse is feeling some type of way about looking at the stars.
Hmm.
And probably the word most people would use would be nostalgia. And she doesn't like it.
was gonna say there are a lot of type of ways I could imagine her feeling about this. That's a good one.
Was somebody else saying something before I interrupted?
Don't think so.
So then, Nero is probably going to not help that nostalgia. He looks around at the group. Boris is coming back to it.
Yeah, suppose not. But not everyone knows a good thing when they see it.
Everyone keeps leaving.
Oh, and what's my chopped liver?
You haven't left yet.
Oh wow, he's already packing my bags, eh?
Better not. I'll cut them in half.
You still have to rip off my arm, remember?
She grins a bit at that. Poor Java over there.
Yeah, Victor sits up a little concerned. So Boris is wanting to stay here?
Doesn't want to stay here, but he doesn't want to do what we do anymore.
Hmm. Well, yes, this makes sense.
Is he feeling too old?
He
Nero
should.
nods.
That makes sense, actually.
If he could sit in a workshop and just poke and tinker with things, he would be a happy man. But the constantly being thrown into danger and, well, it just stresses an old man's bones. He did not come off Anagris so happy anymore.
Promise me you'll kill me if I get old.
Done.
I'm still gonna fight you
You
though.
don't mean it.
He
Say you're joking.
he just laughs. If Nero is old, I will be crawling out of my deathbed to kill her. That will be sight to see.
Ah,
Could still do it, I think, but gives her a mischievous grin.
Saoirse doesn't seem amused.
Only time will tell. First, have to get old.
I'll be half as young as you when you're old.
You keep telling yourself this.
Nero looks over at Saoirse and her grin falls a little bit. No, I don't mean it.
Victor sighs. And I suppose I don't either, but no need to ruin a little fun. Just because Boris is, was it stick in the mud? But we will make sure to get him off Urala, find him a cozy place to hide away and get old.
Nero nods along with that. I think it's old in his soul, not as much in his bones.
I think this would be the first time that Saoirse has heard Nero talk about a soul. She's gonna like look at her, kind of like a little surprised.
Yeah, Nero has that far away kind of slightly downward angled look that she gets when she's actually really trying to think and order her thoughts.
Meanwhile, Victor just kind of mutters, almost under his breath, "But have you seen his bones, though?"
Those are still pretty stinking. Oh no.
Where's my water?
Where is your
There's my
great
water.
question?
Nero looks up. I gave us a job to do. Promised Boris find him a place.
Oh, we do have an extra bunk on the ship, but something tells me that's not what you meant.
Yeah. But I think he can do good with Caldwell and here. And not have to build weapons.
Hmm.
Except a sword for me. I forgot to make him give me a sword.
I don't think he's going anywhere. At least not anytime soon.
If he's leaving me, he has to make me a parting gift.
Huh, that's fair.
Nero breaks this momentary silence with a supremely loud crunch, crunch, crunch into a rice cake, because those things are not quiet.
No, they're not. Not at all.
And she is not a dainty eater.
No, she is not.
Mm-hmm.
She looks over at Java. These are good. I want more.
Oh, we have plenty of those.
The
Let
ones
me
that
help
like
you out.
nobody wants. Oh man. I really want to get Java into our kitchen and see if he like just gets like really into the kitchen.
Java is very food motivated, but you know, doesn't have a lot of experience with anything but coffee.
Oh, that's even better.
Can't wait.
You're all gonna wake up one morning to
I
smell
made
of
breakfast.
burned something wafting
Yeah.
out of the...
Oh, that's definitely something Java would do.
Um,
I made breakfast and it's like sludge, like there's shells in the eggs.
Oh.
that's
They're still liquid.
Yeah, yeah. They're still semi-liquid. It looked like the picture.
man.
I
See,
thought they were done.
as
I
somebody
followed the
who is,
directions.
oh, as somebody who is not proficient in the kitchen, but like I don't know, it's sometimes very difficult for me to even imagine the kinds of things that people sometimes say that they have botched or done. Just like there are a lot of things I can. It's like, oh yeah, I can totally understand how you just cook something too long or not long enough when you're baking it in the oven, whatnot. But like, man, there are some things I'm just like, I don't know how you could even do that. Like, if I can figure it out, surely somebody else could.
Out of character, like I'm actually very proficient in the kitchen, so I'm gonna struggle with incompetence.
Oh no,
But
just imagine your worst nightmare. Like if someone was like, I'll cook for you, and like just imagine all the ways they could mess it up.
Like wash the chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just imagine a couple kids are helping you,
Yeah. There you go.
and you're not watching them.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. My skin
Oh
is
dear.
crawling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But please let's not end on that note. I need you guys to go do something else. Talk to somebody.
The parents in here are just like, please no.
I can't be left thinking about that.
Java pulls the cakes that were requested out of his pocket and hands them to Nero.
Oh yeah, she starts on the next one.
So Tom projects into everyone's minds. This is a lovely place. Did we need to speak to this Liz, friend of Boris's? You seem
Oh yeah.
concerned about.
I did need to have a quick chat with her. See if she's gonna look a little more peaceful than she did looking out over the really beautiful, serene landscape. And that would probably come across as odd to at least Nero, because he probably wouldn't understand why somebody wouldn't feel comfortable there.
Wait, I think I missed a beat. You said she looks more peaceful than looking out. Oh, I did not miss a
Like
beat.
once she's
Got it.
thinking about like, yeah, when she's talking about like going and talking to Liz, she seems like more comfortable with that idea than she did. Like she seems more comfortable now that she has like a thing to do
Mm-hmm.
than she was looking out at the stars and everything.
Nero looks over at Saoirse. We should also get the prisoners from Caldwell. Do you want me to do that?
I'll help you.
Okay. Um.
Yeah, because you guys are gonna need teleportation back to the ship in order to get the
Oh yeah.
POWs out.
So we will have to go talk to Liz first, won't we?
Um,
Or is
excuse
teleportation
me.
available without her?
You know there were at least one or two more teleporters in the Resistance.
And is Avery gonna? Gosh, dang, sorry. Is Java gonna come with them so that they don't get lost?
Yep. Would Java know how to find Liz, I guess? Or maybe have an idea to kind of guide people to find her? Or
Yeah, he would know. I guess he would know where the what am I trying to say?
where her barrack might be?
Um, yeah, he would know where her room would be, and he would know that the teleporters a lot of time will hang out in kind of what has been set aside as their little break room next to the teleporting rooms.
So do y'all want to talk to Liz or go back to the ship?
We can multitask.
I can probably help you with either of those.
All right. Let's find Liz and see if she can pop us over to the ship for a quick chat.
And I guess already in tow, Java takes them to where he believes Liz to be. He knocks on her
Mhm.
door. Liz, are you there?
Um, there's no answer at the door. She's apparently not in her room.
Well, guys, she's not here. Doesn't mean she's not like here, but she's not here.
Thank you.
There
Where
are
would
some
she
other
be?
people that could help us get back to the ship, but honestly, I don't. I mean, she might be in the break room. We could check there.
Okay.
And I guess I'll take everybody to the break room next.
Okay. The caravan trudges along the next place. um, but yeah, knocking and hearing a come in at the teleporter's break room, so to speak. Uh, Java can open the door and find find one of the men who's one of the resistance teleporters sitting there at the table, drinking something, and Liz is pouring herself some water. And they both turn to look at you all enter. I need something. The general sends you back to your ship.
Yeah, Liz, actually, we're trying to get back to the ship now. Uh, I think that if you're free, it'd be great if you could take us back.
The two of them exchange looks, and the guy smiles and shrugs. Yeah, it sounds like they asked for you specifically. And she rolls
Ooh.
her eyes, and as she walks past him, gives him a little elbow in the the middle of his back. Yeah, I can come along and take you. And she takes a big swig of her water, and she'll lead the way out of the room and uh, down the hall just a little bit to the one of the doorways. It seems like this is a different one than the one that you all came out before. But
Oh
yeah,
no.
basically, opens the door and looks just like the room before. It's a fairly large blank room, the same kind of strange flooring and pedestal in the center of it.
I was going to ask Liz if this ever stops being cool.
Oh, Java.
She looks over at him and gives a smile, kind of like you do when a kid is like just totally pumped about something that everyone else is like totally used to. She says, "No, not at all." And she says,
Cool.
but as she sticks her hand in the pedestal, she says, "It does get cooler than this, though." Now, you'll close your eyes. We'll be on our way in three, two, one. She finishes the countdown And assuming everyone closes their eyes.
Saoirse
Yep.
doesn't.
Saoirse doesn't. Okay.
No.
So Saoirse isn't quite sure what she sees or feels, but for just a split second, um, such that she can't consciously recall what it was, but there was just something else that she apparently perceived, and then it's exactly the way it was before. But it is very unsettling. I need a physical save from her, and anyone else who kept
Okay.
their eyes open.
Did
Can you do the physical save for me, because I just realized that my internet, my browser crashed last time.
Okay.
did Liz seem to I thought that she was just talking to Java. Did she seem to tell everyone to close their eyes?
Yeah, and she had done that before when you guys took the trip
Oh, I missed it.
in the ship.
Yeah,
And
I think
yeah.
actually I think Nero wouldn't have the first time, but now she will.
Okay. Yeah,
Cade definitely closes his eyes.
Let's see, where are we? Saoirse.
Java didn't, but it looks like I succeed the physical save.
Yeah, so let's see. Okay, yeah, you guys have pretty easy time passing those anymore. No, so
Avery over there looking at our saves like, when do I get?
Yup.
yeah, so your stomach roils and heaves a bit. Um, you feel bile start to rise, but all of you apparently uh, managed to avoid uh, making good on those feelings. Um, but as Liz turns around and starts to motion you towards the door, she sighs. There is always a couple. Go on ahead. And she she goes and checks on uh, all three of them. Well, I guess if Nero closed her eyes this time, but not before, then yeah, she would check on Java and Saoirse and just go kind of steady them, make sure they're get a quick look in their eyes, and then right, come on with you. And she'll go open the door and hold it open, gesturing out towards the parking garage, which is below your ship. You had come from before.
Liz, we were hoping to get to talk to you a little bit. Or if
Oh,
you don't mind, I was hoping to talk to you a little bit.
okay. That's all right. Shoot.
No offense, but
Um,
should we have this conversation in the ship?
Uh, what does anybody think about that?
would
I
you
mean,
like a tour of our?
oh, sorry.
Um, Liz looks from Java back to Saoirse and says, what conversation?
Well, it's something that I've been needing to talk to someone else about for a while. It's a little personal.
And you need to have that talk with me. She kind of dips her head a little bit,
Saoirse
points at herself.
will look around a little bit. And she wants to know if there's anyone else around that she shouldn't, like, that would be watching them. Makes sense.
No, there's actually nobody else around at all.
Saoirse's gonna look at Liz and she'll kind of like,
And Danielle.
huh?
Hang on real quick, cause
Did I
would
start cutting out or something?
no, I was gonna ask, would Saoirse know about the teleport? I think it's teleportability. Yeah, the teleporter technique of being able to see a place that you can teleport.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. That if she sees the
Oh, that
inside
we
of the
don't
ship,
want
she
her to
can
see the inside of our ship.
pin to the ship.
Well, there's that also. Like I think we skipped a beat. At least it feels like it. I didn't realize that we'd actually gotten onto the ship already.
No, you're not on the ship. You're just
Okay.
outside the teleporting room. Java was suggesting, hey, we should have this conversation on the
Okay,
ship.
that was my
And
other interpretation that of what how he said that. So yeah, there's the problem with having a teleporter on the ship. Um, the problem that I was thinking about is actually all the teleporters here know this room that we're in right now. So it's kind of a question of, do you want to risk Liz being on our ship and being able to get there and watch there later, or do you want to risk somebody being able to listen in to what we're talking about right now?
mm,
Honestly,
so
sure.
that is a good question. Um, Danielle, give me a metasonics check with maybe intelligence,
Okay. 1 second. I am getting back into New Horizons.
or I can fire it off for you if you'd like.
You just give me a second. It's loading.
Okay,
I'm
that's fine.
hopeful my computer's not that. Then again, okay, I just pulled up her character sheet. We're loading, people. We're getting there. Okay, so it's a metapsionics check, you said, with intelligence? Ben?
Yes.
Oh, it didn't. Okay,
Okay.
it just did it.
Oh, it just did it
So
with wisdom. That's
I
fine. I
didn't.
think that's actually like, the same for you. Um, so yeah, Saoirse would know that it is possible for a so trained teleporter to uh, tune in with their senses to any location they could teleport to for um, several minutes, actually, and could even do that probably multiple times a day if they're willing to burn the effort.
Mm-hmm.
She also knows that unless they're pretty skilled at cloaking their abilities, she would detect that sort of snooping.
That was kind of my next question. Okay.
And for what it's worth, with the kind of echoes of psychic teleportation that have been around these rooms, she hasn't picked up on any use of uses of that ability.
All right.
Was there any other reason that we wanted to talk to her on the ship, or is here fine?
think this would be fine. Yeah.
Sorry for that interruption. Just
Mm.
seemed
No.
kind of relevant.
Yeah, that's all right. So, somebody had asked her if she wanted a tour of the ship. Did you want
Yeah,
to
I had
retract
asked her
that
that.
or retcon that?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Liz would still be looking a little confused and say, "I don't suppose I would mind a look at your ship. Uh, I am busy right now, though. Maybe later when I'm not on shift would be a better time."
Well, fair point. Thanks for the lift down.
You're welcome. I'll I'll be here. I assume you're going to get the prisoners and bring them back.
That was a thought.
Okay. I will be here when you come back with them.
All right, many thanks. See you then. And Saoirse's like just gonna stand there and wait for her to walk away.
Oh no, she's I mean she's staying in this room. And
Oh,
she's
okay. I thought we were just outside that.
well, it's so there's like there's a room outside the teleporting room. Got like some control panels and stuff, and uh, windows looking out at the parking garage. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's sort of like a looked like Boris had been using it as a place to lounge, waiting for you when you'd arrived before. So it seems like she intends to wait in here for you. Um,
The pilot's lounge.
yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, without
All right, so
laboring the point, go get the prisoners.
Yep.
okay. So uh, you go and fetch the prisoners, and without too much fuss, they come along, and I think for next session, a lot of you will be returning. Well, yeah, I guess I don't know. We can have a real introduction of Java to the ship another time. Uh,
Yeah, when we
but
actually have time.
yeah, you guys are kind of on other tasks. But I guess we'll leave it up to you guys. If we could start next time either on the ship, or we could just go ahead and be returning the prisoners to the base next time. But as for now, we will consider that the end of our session. Give
Mhm.
everyone a little XP. And we will get our feeds.
Oh
Oh,
wait, that means it's me,
that
doesn't it?
means Robert first.
LOL.
Probably the funny thing with this episode has just been the near constant sarcasm of everybody,
Mm-hmm.
contrasted versus Java's complete pie in the sky enthusiasm for everything. Sarcasm versus everything is awesome.
Optimism.
Yeah. That was a fun tone to the episode.
Yeah, that did make for a nice contrast. Thank you, Robert. Avery, what about you?
Muted. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Having fun coming into the character of Java. He's going exactly the way that I wanted him to. I think that my favorite was learning. This is Avery speaking. Learning about unicorn cakes, um, and just excitedly waiting for that experience and how Java will interact with that. Um, when he does finally get to experience something better than the rice cakes and protein powder
Oh man.
combination. Um,
Okay.
I'm also looking forward to like learning more about like where they found him and like stuff like that, but I know that can be like I tend to like apparently latch on to like nitpicky details that don't actually matter or that people are hoping I wouldn't ask about. So feel free to just be like, yeah, they don't know. He doesn't know where they found him. Good.
no, I mean, I
Always fun
think
to
we pretty
explore,
well have
honestly.
that fleshed out, and it could be explored slightly, like in some detail, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say this. A how to phrase it. Um, whether or not a piece of backstory has actually been created already should have no bearing on whether anyone asks about it,
Gotcha.
because that's half the fun.
So,
Probing the boundaries of backstories and characters' experiences, because uh, obviously this on screen we see just a tiniest tidbit of these characters' life
mhm,
experiences, and so it's really
right.
fun to have things that stretch the imagination and make you think, okay, well, have they experienced anything that would affect how they interact here? Anyway, it's cool stuff.
Hmm.
So don't be shy about poking into that. Obviously, to the extent that your character would do so.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Make
haven't had any shyness over those things in the past.
Yeah.
Hashtag daddy issues.
Oh my.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Also, Java's circumstance. I mean, he's already teased enough that is bound to have somebody intrigued enough to ask more.
And I think Java is going to have to ask about y'all at some point too, right? Like
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
at this point, his objective, as he's clearly said, is like, I want to get out of here,
Hmm.
and like nothing else is important to him, really.
Right.
So I think that those are questions that he'll eventually realize are also important and
Hmm.
want to address. And yeah,
Gotcha. Right now, we're
Mhm.
his ticket out of here, and he's not going to look that gift horse in the mouth.
Well, he's already made one friend.
Yep.
Yes, he has.
Say, he had her at cakes.
Well, your Tabukan man feel.
Speaking of which, uh, any volunteers for next?
I've got mine queued up so I can go.
Do it.
So I liked the closure for Nero. Nero finally getting closure with Boris that he's not going to be rejoining them on their adventures. Um, it was nice to be able to get that. But I also just like I guess realizing that she likes rice cakes also. As long as there's something sweet in it, as long as there's some sugar in it, she likes those rice cakes too.
was a night of self-discovery
Yeah.
in multiple ways. All right, Ethan, what about you?
Yeah, I'd liked the Nero and Boris moment, and the rice cakes, yeah, as well. That's both pretty fun. Well, I guess a fun scene, and then yeah, a good emotional uh, uh, character scene.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad that happened for sure. Um, right, Danielle?
Um, yeah, I think my favorite actually, I did enjoy the obviously the banter that I got to have with Boris, but I am gonna give my favorite to Boris being really open with Nero and explaining just how much it like haunted him that he had killed for no purpose. Um, or he'd killed thinking that it was for a good reason and then found out that it was completely unnecessary. Um, so I think that um, getting to hear about that and um, Nero getting to be there for Boris, because I'm not really sure he's spoken about that with many other people, if
Mm-mm.
anyone. Um, that was really cool. That's the kind of stuff that I actually really enjoy um, people talking about, like
Mm-hmm.
the natural like culmination of what living a life like this would be like for a lot of people,
Mm.
um, without it coming at the cost of like making the game work. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really good. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to second that for sure because
I'm
I
gonna have to pat
was
myself on the back.
well, and not so much. I guess I guess maybe I'd I guess I'd give the props to Dex for having narrowed dig deep because Boris was trying he was trying to talk around it and just kind of give his platitudes of sorts and just kind of say, well, I'll come off planet, but I need to settle down, that kind of stuff. Just talk about it at that level. Um, but that was um, that was something. I guess. By the way, I don't remember who all does or doesn't know, but Boris was uh, he was one of my player characters. I guess he was the first one I had in this. Oh, no, he was the second one. Anyway, um, I played him for a while in this group, and so as a player, um, you know, went through that experience and like deciding at the time how that would affect him was I thought it was really cool. It's a good opportunity because he was so clearly different from Victor or Nero or Signy or any of the other people who were very well accustomed to and familiar with willing to kill people in the extreme circumstances they were in, that sort of thing. Um, and I didn't really ever know how it would, you know, if it would come back up or if it would ever come up. Again, I just, I had it and kind of tucked it away. Um, and uh, getting to pull that out tonight was just, um, it was just incredible. I, I mean, I was tearing up getting into that. Uh, and I don't think I've ever gotten that much into a character's headspace before, not that I can think of anyway. Um, but and just when you guys were talking about it, I was tearing up again because, and it's, I don't need to wax an elephant about it, but um, I think, I think part of it is just, there are a lot of people who kind of glorify and paint rosy pictures of what serving your country looks like and what, you know, going to war for whatever ideals is about, and kind of uh, idealizes and I idolatrizes. I don't know, something like that. Um, well, idolizes. That's the same word. What am I talking about?
I think you were
Anyway,
getting caught up on idealizing and idolizing.
yeah,
Is what was
idealizing and
tripping you up.
idolizing, doing both. But anyway, they do that about military service and veterans and all that, and but don't really acknowledge or think about what that actually does to a real human being, and the kinds of things that armies do to people to mess with their minds, and then also just you know what it does to a person, the first time they kill somebody. And not that I have that experience, but um it just
Definitely had friends and family who have go through that.
yeah, and I think it's kind of like I guess another random thing recently, but I was watching some random Twitch streamer, and she was interviewing people in the chat and all that. And this guy, when I tuned in, that she's talking to, they're having a normal conversation. You know, they're just chatting and getting to know each other some, and she guesses that he was in the military, and he was like, "Oh yeah, what gave it away?" I guess maybe there was I think maybe there was a small badge somewhere in the background that she noticed, but anyway, she ended up asking if he killed anybody,
Huh.
and he just kind of made a face, and he was like, "Can I not answer that question?" And her reaction was like, "Oh," and she like looks at her camera, like looking at her audience. She's like, "Whoa, that totally means he killed somebody." And like did not understand, like did not seem to grasp at all how, like had no concept that that's not something you just ask someone, and that's not how you respond to somebody who's in a position like that. And
No.
he was sort of struggling to kind of get around that topic because she was kind of stuck on it for a minute or two. And then eventually the interview was done, and he you could kind of get a sense he was relieved. But I just you know thinking about that and how that, I don't know, so that's just been on my mind some lately. And of course with all the recent stuff in Ukraine, i'm I'm just going on and on, but
We're in the weeds now.
we are very much in the weeds. But all that to say, that was just a very powerful moment that I'd never expected to role play there. um so thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm glad I could uh help
Glad you
uh
did digging.
yeah.
um
Help bring that to
'cause
light.
yeah, I think it's, I don't know, it's just something about the empathy, a- and maybe that, I guess because it's just such a visceral feeling to try to empathize with, that is, very difficult to wrap your mind around as a kind of normal everyday person who's just had a fairly standard and like violence slash struggle free life for the most part.
I was gonna say, especially at the age that Boris was when he first grappled with that. Like,
hmm
I've played fairly consistently. I think that Nero doesn't. She's not bloodthirsty. She doesn't go for killing first.
hmm
Um, but I do think that I mean, she was exposed to that kind of violence, killing people, and seeing her friends die at a very early age. Not very
hmm
early, but young compared to Boris. Very young compared to
Yeah.
Boris. So I think that she had that empathy to give right there.
hmm Yeah, because he he had done he'd been around a long time, and yeah, it was very clear that he had never um, done anything like that. Um, she might get the impression it's possible he'd hurt or even killed people a long time ago, but um, very clearly in very different circumstances.
Right. Yeah, he
And
he made a point of it was pointless.
mhm. and it, like in the moment he thought he had to, and that's I think that's a tool that a lot of times is used to convince people to do stuff like that, which in that case it wasn't really forced on him, but you know he he felt that in the moment that it was necessary, and then finding out afterward that it wasn't was just soul crushing. I mean, I think it's got to be something like imagining, you know, what some of the soldiers who fought in Iraq or Afghanistan for years, might feel when they come back. It's like, oh well, what did we accomplish? You know, fat lot of nothing except lining a bunch of rich people's pockets with more money. Uh,
I think
and
that's a sentiment that Aaron has shared with us.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say that some of that comes from knowing a couple people, knowing one guy in particular who he's ex-army, and he is not shy at all about expressing his feelings for the U.S. military and all, institutions in general that just you know chew up and abuse people. Um, but yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
let's bring this back around.
yeah,
we
yeah,
we are still streaming. I do want to remind you that.
yeah, true. Hmm.
But yeah, I'm glad that that scene could happen and how
hmm
it played out.
Yeah. Thank you for bearing with my rambling there.
Yeah, we're used to
Oh dear.
it.
Well, it's also special when you get to bring closure to a character's arc,
Oh yeah.
and I'm sure it's also special to be able to close out an arc of a character you kind of turned into an NPC because you took up the GM mantle. Like, you never know
hmm
when that person's ever coming back into the story, except when players drag them back in half the time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
bravo, good sir.
thank you.
I'd like
Um,
to say, and now for something completely different.
Oh
Roll
no.
20 has been cracking me up for like the last 15 minutes.
Why
Just
so?
seeing all the stairs just standing there in a row.
All the Saoirses? What do you mean all
where is that?
I don't know if you can see the avatars.
Oh no, I actually cannot.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
They're
Let's
all
see.
down in the bottom right corner.
Wait,
I just
what?
see all of the avatars. I don't see a bajillion Saoirses.
Why? Yeah, I'm seeing Dex, me, and you all as Saoirse. That's very weird. Did somebody hack my computer?
Yeah, that's it. That's what happened.
It was just a glitch. That's so
No,
strange.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're
I
talking
see
about the
everything correctly.
avatars, not the tokens, right?
that's when you're typing
Oh
as.
wait.
Oh, actually, and I even did favorites as Saoirse.
Oh,
Whoops. Oh well.
that's what that is.
That's
Why are you
serious.
all me?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, dude, that's
I'm the
actually
Bioscion
very.
here.
That's very good to know.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, because I've got to be careful not to accidentally uh spoil stuff for you guys.
Yeah, you might, if you're trying to type as someone, you might reveal what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
And you gonna apparently put words in my mouth, huh, Daniel?
Wait, put words
All
in
right.
whose
Well,
mouth?
good night, y'all.
Later,
Yes.
Robert.
Good night,
I'll go ahead
everybody.
and close out the stream here.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm waiting. Nothing you wanted to say this time?
Good night.